Okay, so with us today is my wife Twee, and she's going to be helping us through some of these stretches and exercises and some of the demonstrations today. All right. So the first thing that we want to do is to show you how you can perform a very simple self-assessment to see if tight quadriceps could be your underlying problem. Now, all you need to do to perform this test is to first hold on to something for balance. Twee here is using a foam roller, but you can use a chair, you can use a counter, you can use a tabletop, just something sturdy that you can hold on to for balance. Now, the next thing that you want to do is to first grab onto your foot and try to pull your heel towards your buttock, like so. And then the next thing that you want to do is to try to then point your knees straight down towards the ground, like so. And most importantly, you also want to make sure that your back is staying completely straight, and also so that your hips and your pelvis are staying level, which means that it should be parallel to the floor and parallel to the ceiling. So if you're able to accomplish all four of these tasks, then this is what we would call a passing test, and that tight quadriceps are unlikely to be the problem that is causing your back issues. All right. So Tweet, go ahead and reset. Now, if you are someone who does probably have some type of tightness or tension within your quad muscles, then what we want to show you next are some of the types of problems that you expect to, or that you're likely to run into. And then you will be able to visibly see how tight quads could actually be contributing to your back issues. All right. Now, the first thing that might happen if quad tightness or if knee problems are your issue is that you might have difficulty just simply grabbing onto your heel. All right. So if this is happening to you and that you're just the attempts of you trying to kind of grab on, that you just feel like you can't, hold on, then this is the first sign that that tight quads could be an underlying problem that you have, or that you might have some underlying knee issues that you want to address. So if you can't just grab on, then that's okay. Then you can just kind of move on to the next part of this video and start to get to work on fixing some of these issues. All right. Now, for a lot of people, they generally don't have a difficult time grabbing on, but when they start to grab on, the first thing that may happen is their entire body starts to get pulled forward, like so. Right. And this is because of again, as we talked about before, the very important attachments that these muscles have onto your pelvis, and that when these muscles are insanely tight, that they're going to want to pull your entire body forward. So if you start to put this muscle under a lot of tension, and if you start to feel that your entire body is being pulled forward, then that is again a very clear indicator that tight quads could be your underlying issue. Right. So Tweet, go ahead and reset. Now, the next thing that may happen is, if you've been able to identify that, man, I'm starting to get, pulled forward by these muscles, then the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to want to start to try to get upright. So what's going to happen here is, instead of being pulled forward, if you try to force this position where you try to get upright, then what's going to happen is you may start to overarch and overextend your lower back, like so. Right. And this is probably the most common issue that we do see, where somebody's back is just kind of overcompensating for the tightness within these quad muscles. So again, if this is happening to you, then again, this is a very clear sign and indicator that tight quads are an underlying issue that needs to be addressed. All right. So Twee, go ahead and reset. So now that we've identified, being pulled forward or overarching your back as, some underlying issues, what's going to happen is, if we can correct for these issues, this is what you may seem will happen. So Tweet, go and grab on. So in order to make sure that you're not leaning forward, try to get upright, but then you also want to make sure that your hips and your pelvis are staying completely level. And when this happens, what's going to happen is your knee might start to get pulled way up and forward, like so. Right, because of the fact that you're keeping your back in place, you're keeping your pelvis and hips in place, and now we're really starting to isolate the potential tightness within those thigh muscles, and then you're going to again start to see your knees start to pop forward. Right, and once this happens, again, you can then start to measure the angle in which your knee is kind of far away from just kind of being straight, like so, and that is the amount of distance that we need to be able to correct in order for us to eventually help you get to a passing test. Okay, so Tweet, go and reset. So again, let's just go over what it should look like for a passing test, just to make sure that this is what we are kind of looking out for, to make sure that these tight quads are being addressed. So again, make sure that you can grab on your heel onto your butt. Make sure that your back is staying completely straight. Make sure that your body is upright, and also make sure that your hips and your pelvis are completely level, so that your hips are parallel with the floor and the ceiling. So if you're able to do these four things, this is a passing test. But if you have difficulty accomplishing these things, then that's okay. That's what this video is for. And now we're going to show show you some of our favorite ways to help you start to correct some of these issues to eliminate the level of pull and tension that tight quads may be having on your back.